A lot of people were asking a question about Gladys's funeral in regards to the photo used on the obituary, as well as, on a little poster that was in the middle of the flower arrangements at the front of the church. And people were saying, like, how in the world did they get a photo of Gladys looking, well, sober, typically because the story goes she has been using for quite some time. So when in the world did a photo like this ever get, taken? Now, obviously, you could just say, they just took it, used it for a prop, Photoshop or something. But based off what the pastor was saying, I mean, I don't think it's impossible to consider that Gladys wasn't always an addict in terms of she was strung out all the time, even before her kids were born. Remember that video at the end of season 2 where she told Jeremiah and Zach she loved him before she ran off, and presumably that's when her life truly took a turn for the worst. Given that the pastor said that there were times where she would come, for prayer and whatnot and strength to kick her habit, I would not be surprised if there were, and I hate to make this comparison, but hear me out. Think about how Zach and Karen's relationship was 3 years of toxicity. It was a 3 year long relationship, but there were plenty of times where they broke up. They had, or, I think it's safe to assume Karen would just break up with Zach and kick him out and whatnot. And then there would be however long periods of time where they weren't together. And then they would eventually get back together and the cycle continues. I mean, it was kind of a running joke in the first couple seasons of the show where the other girls would make side bets on how long before the two got back together again. So obviously this wasn't a rare occurrence. They would always break up to make up, that kind of thing. I'm thinking a similar trend may have been happening with Gladys, when the boys were younger. Let's say, or maybe when they were older too. You never know. There might have been stints of time where Gladys was clean for just a little while. Maybe a few days, maybe sometimes 2 weeks, but she would just fall back into bad habits. And, perhaps she had like an extra support system that allowed her to remain sober enough to get herself together to go to church maybe every now and then, and that's when the photo was taken. Like I said, it is a bit of a stretch, but I'm just trying to add a little bit of, positive, theories here on why this photo was taken the way it was. So that's just my 2 cents. I think she might have had a brief period of time of sobriety when a photo like this was possible. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below.